Hey all, my name is Dr. Paul Borosky and I am the owner of Quality Business Plan. And for business tip number 13, what I want to talk about is competitive advantages for an organization. Whether you are a startup or you're an existing business, everyone's going to have competitive advantages. You're going to be doing something better than other people, and that's what your competitive advantage is going to be. So when you're trying to identify what your competitive advantages are, ask yourself, what do you do better than everybody else? What are you proud of? What is that one service where you know if you get that call, you're going to be able to knock that service out of the park and nobody's going to do it better? So that's one of the questions you should ask yourself. Another question you should ask yourself in order to figure out what your competitive advantage is what do you sell the most of? What is the product that just people are flocking to your doors and you're just selling them off the shelf? Or what service are people referring to you? That's one of the best gauges right there, is when people refer other people to you for that specific service. Well, that's going to tell you that could be also a competitive advantage for you. And then finally, when you're doing your when you are identifying your competitive advantages, whether it's just for your operational purposes, just because you want to know, or because it's for a business plan, do not list more than 2 or 3 competitive advantages. When you start listing 7 or 8 or 9 or 10 competitive advantages, what you're saying to the reader, especially if this isn't a business plan, is that you are drifting further and further and further away from an established business model. A competitive advantage might be you might be doing something slightly different than everybody else, which makes your product better. But when you are doing it in a completely different way, then that's going to start incurring risk, and people are going to start perceiving risk. Well, how is this so great for you, but nobody else is doing it? And why are you doing this so many different ways? You're just opening cans of worms that you don't need to open. When you follow a specific business model, but you change it slightly for competitive advantages purposes, then you're not incurring risk. But if you go more than 2 or 3, and if you start saying that you're reinventing the wheel, then you're going to have people a little bit worried, especially investors or loan officers, when you start saying that you're going to do something completely different. Stay true to your business model, but make sure that you have there's slight variations, which are going to be your competitive advantages. Hopefully this information was helpful. If you liked it, subscribe. If you need a business plan, let me know.